In 1979, Margaret Thatcher is elected the first female Prime Minister of Great Britain.
If you want to change this party, lead it.
But she quickly discovers she must fight Parliament and her country to revive Britain's economy.
Your problem is that you haven't got the courage for this fight.
Seeking to radically change government, Margaret stands for what she believes is right in The Iron Lady.
David, you've just seen it. Tell us about it.
This movie made me really angry. And you both know me pretty well. I don't get angry at much of anything, let alone a movie, okay? Deep breath. The reason why this movie made me so angry is that it squandered an opportunity to tell a really amazing story about a brilliant political figure, much in the vein of, say, the Queen or Frost Nixon. And instead, we're given a movie about a shut-in little old lady who is missing her beloved deceased husband and trying to keep old age dementia at bay. Now, this movie had its deck stacked in its favor, okay? It's a story about Margaret Thatcher, one of the most fascinating political figures of the 20th century, played by Meryl Streep, one of the greatest actresses of any century. So instead of giving us the sweep of history and how Margaret Thatcher was responsible for it and caught up in it, we're given the story of a little old lady who is a shut-in. I'm a political junkie, but there's really very little in this movie for me to savor. And I think that the most egregious sin that this movie commits is that, other than showing them briefly dancing together, the movie totally skips the relationship of Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan, who is her kindred spiritual political counterpart. The movie does get interesting when it talks about the Falkland War, which was when Argentina invaded the Falkland Islands that Great Britain owned, and Margaret Thatcher's iron will in taking back those islands from Argentina.
We will stand on principle, or we will not stand at all.
But Margaret, with all due respect, when one has been to war...
With all due respect, sir, I have done battle every single day of my life.
But the minute we get interested in the movie, bang, we're dropped again into Margaret Thatcher as a little old lady. Now, Meryl Streep brings it to the table. She does a great job, and halfway through the film, you forget that you're watching Meryl Streep. You really think you're watching Margaret Thatcher. But writer Abi Morgan gives her so little to work with that it's just frustrating. And I think they just keep falling back on this story of a little old lady when I don't want to see that. I want to see Margaret Thatcher. If I wanted to see that, I can go home and see my mom, who actually isn't a shut-in. I believe that you have to lay the blame at the feet of the director, Phyllida Lloyd. She's created a movie that is just plodding and boring to the point where I swear to you, in the middle of the movie, within earshot of me, there was not one but two people snoring.
Well, wait, let me ask you this. Okay, so you said there's only this brief moment in there about her and Ronnie.
Yep.
But is it possible that it was important for the screen time to be focused primarily on Margaret Thatcher, and by bringing Ronnie in, Ronald Reagan, wouldn't that have overshadowed her accomplishments as the first female prime minister?
You're absolutely right. That's a great question. And these two were champions of free market economy and radically changed the way government worked, both in the United States and Great Britain. And what it would have done is it would have given us a behind-the-scenes look at how they worked together. And I don't think it would have overshadowed it because we're given so little of who Margaret Thatcher was and what she did during her term in office. And I'm just so upset that I just need to take my ticket now, okay?
I think you should take your ticket.
Out of my way.
Okay.
I don't know how the Weinstein brothers could have taken such a fascinating political figure and made such a boring movie out of it. Go see Frost Nixon instead, but based solely on Meryl Streep's performance, I'm giving this movie a stream it.